Hello! Let's start with a suggestion. You'll hear it at the beginning of this song. Or maybe it's a challenge. Rejoice, lift up your hearts. A tall order these days, perhaps. But that's what we're asked to do, to say, this is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. Mind you, the season of mellow fruitfulness is going past now, leaving us with the mists. But let's rise above these challenges of what the Scots call the Dreich days, and start with a quiet time as we begin our worship together. In the beginning, when it was very dark, God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. And there was light. In the beginning, when it was very quiet, the Word was with God. The Word was with God. And when the time was right, God sent the Son. He came among us. He was one of us. He was one of us.
All change. All change, please. All change.
Yes, we are in a time of change. Big change. It's all change here too, with the autumn moving fast into the onset of winter. One poet put it like this:
The frost came suddenly, and the leaves, still green, fell silently, vertically, with scarce a twist from crown to earth. A green rain turned to a carpet of green snow. Leaf death, that the stem might survive the frosts of winter, to hail the sun of spring, the rays that warm the waiting soil-bound seeds of autumn ash. The light gives growth, but underneath the roots absorb the nutrients formed from last year's leaves. Solstice, equinox and frost, the cycle is complete. Without death, there can be no life.
Many people still cry out for a different kind of change. Those affected in small and large ways by this awful virus. Those who fear being unable to afford heating this winter. Those who are separated for a host of reasons from where they wish to be and from people with whom they wish to be.
People long for freedom. They find the waiting is a kind of pain, a seemingly never-ending waiting in the darkness. And this song expresses well the yearning of God's people. For the water, so my soul longs after you. You alone are my heart's desire, and I long to worship you. You alone are my strength, my shield. To you alone may my spirit yield. You alone are my heart's desire, and I long to worship you. You're my friend and you are my brother, even though you are a king. I love you more than any other, so much more than anything. You alone are my strength, my shield. To you alone may my spirit yield. You alone are my heart's desire, and I long to worship you. I long to worship you. I long to worship you.
Change and decay in all around I see. A line from that well-loved hymn, Abide with me. Of course, there isn't decay in everything around us, for there are always signs of new growth and hope. But change there is, and at this time of year, yes, there is decay.
When you look at the natural world, think for a moment of the great plan, God's world working out its purpose and pattern. These leaves will die. They've already lost the connection with their parent tree, and their nutrients will eventually enter the soil as the cell structures break down and decay. But the process is necessary for life on Earth. Without it happening like that, next spring won't take place. One can say that without death there is no life. And this has huge relevance for Christians.
Today is the Sunday on which we celebrate God's kingship. It's called the Feast of Christ the King. And with this kingship, naturally goes a kingdom, the one we call the Kingdom of Heaven. But people 2,000 years ago probably had different desires.
What we need is a strong king,
A powerful king.
a leader who will inspire us all to rise up against tyrants,
One who will win.
so that everything comes right again.
Destroying evil.
Evil can be destroyed, can't it?
Those people from so long ago were probably waiting and longing for a warrior king to free them from oppression and occupation.
Only 2 weeks ago, the USA made one of the most significant changes in history. Over half the population of that nation cried out for change, as much as others did more than 2 millennia ago in a different context. And that reflects what has happened and is happening right now in other countries in the world, such as Belarus and Zimbabwe, with their dictator leaders. Not just now, but also in the time of Herod Antipas. He called himself king. He was the king in charge of Judea in Jesus' time. They might have sung songs of longing, perhaps a little bit like this one.
How long, O Lord, will you forget an answer to my prayer? No tokens of your love I see. Your face is turned away from me. I wrestle with despair. How long, O Lord, will you forsake and leave me in this way? When will you come to my relief? My heart is overwhelmed with grief and evil night and day. How long, O Lord? But you forgive with mercy from above. I find that all your ways are just. I learn to praise you and to trust in your unfailing love.
How long, O Lord, will you forget an answer to my prayer? No tokens of your love I see. Your face is turned away from me. I wrestle with despair. How long, O Lord, will you forsake and leave me in this way? When will you come to my relief? My heart is overwhelmed with grief by evil night and day. How long, O Lord, but you forgive with mercy from above. I find that all your ways are just. I learn to praise you and to trust in your unfailing love.
What kind of king can we hope for or expect? What kind of person will lead us out of our little prisons into the freedom of true living? A warrior king? Here's a clue.
When the Son of Man comes in his glory, with all the angels, he'll sit on his glorious throne. All the nations will be gathered before him, and he will separate the people, one group on the right and another on his left. And then the king will say to those on his right,
Come, you who are blessed by my Father, take your inheritance, the kingdom prepared for you since the creation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me in. I needed clothes, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you looked after me. I was in prison, and you came to visit me.
Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you something to drink? When did we see you a stranger and invited you in, or needing clothes and clothe you? When did we see you sick or in prison and go to visit you?
Well, let's hear the story's ending by listening to a well-known Hebridean prayer.
I saw a stranger yestereen. I put food in the eating place, drink in the drinking place, music in the listening place. And in the sacred name of the Triune, he blessed myself and my house, my cattle and my dear ones. And as the lark said in her song, often, often, often goes Christ in the stranger's guise.
If this is really true, then it's rather obvious that he's going to do things in a pretty unusual way, as suggested in this next song.
Oh Lord, all the world belongs to you, and you are always making all things new. What is wrong you forgive, and the new life you give is what's turning the world upside down. The world's only loving to its friends, but your way of loving never ends. Loving enemies too, and this loving with you is what's turning the world upside down. The world lives divided and apart. You draw men together and we start in our friendship to see that in harmony we can be turning the world upside down. The world wants the wealth to live in state, but you show a new way to be great. Like a servant you came, and if we do the same, we'll be turning the world upside down. Oh Lord, all the world belongs to you, and you are always making all things new. What is wrong you forgive, and the new life you give is what's turning the world upside down. Is what's turning the world upside down.
It looks as though our perception of what kind of king will come maybe needs to change. Let's allow ourselves a few moments of quiet prayer with a piano playing. Maybe we can include in our praying that our relationship with God will be one of king and subject, where we act in obedience to the call of a king.
But the wonderful thing is that this king, God, also turns out to want, to need our friendship, which is a different kind of relationship of a king with his subjects.
That's even more mind-blowing than the immensity of a starlit sky. Let's be quiet for a moment or two and have space to just take on board the idea of what kind of king might be coming. Lord, in your kindness, you promise to hear our prayers.
Here is another version of the kind of king we might have, and with whom we are called to live in true relationship.
The King of love my shepherd is, whose goodness faileth never. I nothing nothing lack if I am his, and he is mine forever. Perverse and foolish oft I strayed, but yet in love he sought me, and on his shoulder gently he laid, and home rejoicing brought me. In death's dark vale I fear no ill, with thee, dear Lord, beside me. Thy rod and staff my comfort still, thy cross before to guide me. And so through all the length of days, thy goodness faileth never. Good Shepherd, may I sing thy praise within thy house forever.
A king of love? Who ever heard of it?
People who aren't free shout for freedom. It's happened throughout history, right from the days of the slaves in North America in the 19th century to those suffering under the South African apartheid regime in the 20th century. But they were nevertheless able to sing, even under such persecution, songs such as
Freedom, oh freedom, freedom is coming, oh yes, freedom, oh freedom is coming, oh yes, I know. We all crave for freedom, even at these present times. And we all await the King who will bring that freedom closer, who will destroy all that enslaves us in so many ways. Therefore we can sing with certainty about how we long to see our new King soon, and we shall know and feel and realize that we have a King who is clearly going to be very different to what we might have thought originally. He's coming soon. That's our prayer and our cry.
Very soon we are going to see the King. Soon and very soon we are going to see the King. Soon and very soon we are going to see the King. Hallelujah, hallelujah, we're going to see the King. No more crying there, we are going to see the King. No more crying there, we are going to see the King. No more crying there, we are going to see the King. Hallelujah, hallelujah, we're going to see the King. Hallelujah. No more dying there, we are going to see the King. Oh, no more dying there, we are going to see the King. No more dying there, we are going to see the King. Hallelujah, hallelujah, we're going to see the King. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
Here's a telephone conversation between two friends called Jack and Jill. A telephone conversation, but it's, curiously enough, centuries before telephones were even invented.
Oh, that's taking poetic license a bit far.
Well, that's as may be, Jill. But tell me, What kind of king do you think he'll be then?
Hey, wait a mo, Jack. It could be a she.
Well, then we'd live in the queendom. That's a good one, that, isn't it?
Don't be flippant. I'm only saying...
Okay, I know. Look, my original question was, what kind of ruler would you think would give us the freedom we need?
Well, quite recently, I heard someone singing a song about a king of love. That's a new idea. Appeals to me.
But surely we need someone to fight on our behalf, like being at the head of an army. All this waiting, it's getting to me.
It's like being in the dark and no sign of the light coming. But I reckon you've got to think outside the box, Jack. We don't have all the answers, you know.
I agree, yeah, but there must be limits to all this stuff about a king of love, no? I mean, can you lead people by love?
Maybe it can happen like that. I had a dream a couple of nights ago.
Aye, well, what was that about?
I'm almost too shy to tell you.
Oh, come on, Jill, you can tell me, can't you?
It was, well...
Well, come on, girl.
Well, it was that this king, this leader, will come as
I'm waiting.
a baby.
You're joking.
No, I truly saw that happening in my dream. It was as if it was completely real.
Oh, it's impossible.
Look, Jack.
Can't be true.
No.
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 Well, if it was, it'd be certainly all changed then. But we'll have to wait and see if you're right or not.
Yes, we'll see.
I don't like this waiting in the dark. So I'm going to stick my neck out and say that when the darkness vanishes, I'll be proved right. It won't be a baby.
We'll see.